This trip to Ireland was 3 years in the making. We got delayed twice because of COVID, and we were so excited that it was actually happening this year. The Finegan family was on their way to Ireland. This was our first international trip in quite a few years, and our first time to Ireland. Since we were going across the Atlantic, we were on the large 787 Dreamliner, and we normally fly budget airlines, so it was nice to have this large fold-out tray, in-seat entertainment with lots of movies and TV. It made this overnight flight a little bit more enjoyable. We were leaving Philadelphia at just about 9 p.m., and we were going to be flying overnight and landing in Dublin in the morning. So I brought some things to help me survive, like my inflatable neck pillow from Sea to Summit. Then I have this new gear, my eye pillow from Manta Sleep with these eye cups, because I was going to try my very hardest to sleep, even though I'm really bad at sleeping on airplanes. And my new favorite piece of gear, this down blanket that packs into a small carrier. One of the great things about flying at night is you get these amazing views of the city below. In our group, it was me, Patrick, Patrick's dad, Jim, and Patrick's sister, Megan. And we were on this trip with quite a few other people who belong to the Cara Irish Society. We joined a few years ago with hopes of going on our first trip to Ireland. Luckily, during this flight, we were fed quite well. I had some pasta with meat sauce, Patrick had some chicken, and as we approached Ireland, it was around 2:30 our time when they gave us a snack of yogurt. So with the food coming frequently, I only got a little bit of sleep, but I really don't sleep well on planes anyway, especially when I'm this excited about doing something so special. We've been on flights with some very strange schedules before, but this was our first true overnight flight with a big time change. So it's a 5-hour difference between Philadelphia and Dublin. So by this time we really needed some coffee. But as the sun started to come up over the horizon and we got closer to Ireland, the excitement was building. I packed up my inflatable neck pillow and I folded up my new down blanket into its carrying case. I decided to bring this at the last minute, thinking that I might like to have a blanket on the plane. I ended up using this every single day of the trip, and I'm so glad I brought it. We started our descent, and this was where we got our first glimpse of Ireland. It's so neat to get the aerial view. I really think that pilots must get to see some of the most beautiful sights in the whole world. I'm so glad I had a window seat and that we were landing during daylight so that you could actually look down and see the green patchwork that you kind of imagine Ireland to look like.
You know you're in Ireland when you spot a castle from the air. I hope so too.
Welcome to Dublin. Thank you. As we deplaned, I remember thinking I felt better than I expected, considering it was an overnight flight and it was now very early in the morning at home. But that was because of the excitement of being in a new place, and it also helped that the sun was up, so it felt like we were supposed to be awake. we started to make our way through the airport to meet our bus driver. This was just the beginning of the day. We had quite a lot to go. We met our bus driver, Joe. We got our bus assignment, and we made the walk from the airport out to the bus parking. It is 4:30 our time and 10:30 here, and I actually feel surprisingly good. How do you feel?
Okay.
Okay. I think we slept for maybe an hour at most. But you just kind of use the excitement, and at least the sun is up. That helps. This is our first time doing a group bus trip, and to be honest, I really wasn't sure how we were going to like it. This is really different from our typical mode of travel, but I was pleasantly surprised by the bus. Lots of windows, you can see everything around you, so you get these great views of the Irish countryside. And the seats were very comfortable. We had a bathroom on the bus, so you didn't have to worry about how frequently they were going to stop. And it was really nice to not have to worry about where we were going. I'm usually the trip planner, and while Patrick drives, I have to navigate. And it's really a constant process of figuring things out and thinking. Where with this trip, we just got to sit back and relax because we knew that Joe, the bus driver, was going to get us exactly where we needed to go. And we were quite happy about that because in Ireland, they drive on the left side of the road, or what Joe, our bus driver, said is the correct side of the road. And from watching the traffic patterns, I don't think I would be able to drive there myself. So I was very happy to be in the bus. After getting picked up at Dublin International Airport, we were making our way north to a city along the coast for our breakfast stop. So the day was starting. We were going for it, even though we didn't have much sleep. But it was great to look out the windows and start to get our first views of what Ireland looks like. And I was pleasantly surprised by all of the greenery. And it was a nice treat to make our way over to the Irish Sea. The spot that we stopped for breakfast had a great view of the water. After driving through some picturesque countryside and adorable little towns, we arrived at the Glide Inn, which was our breakfast spot. They have a bar in the front, which is very old, and in the back there's a beautiful room overlooking the Irish Sea, and we got to have our first of many Irish breakfasts, and it was quite enjoyable. I love trying new food when we are traveling, so that's really a big part of the fun. Oh, are you? Yeah. That's neat. Tell him to follow our channel.
Yeah.
The owner was very friendly, and he came over and he was asking about our little camera. I had the DJI sitting on the table.
Yes.
He thought about it for a moment and then decided to climb down over the rocks and walk down to the water so that he could actually put his hand in the Irish Sea. And no surprise here, it was very cold. After a great breakfast, we headed back onto the bus. We were heading up north toward the town of Derry.
Eric's place.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, look at this is cute. Yeah, this is nice.
So they're all raised in the years ago, like weighing the salmon. So when the salmon came in, we'd have to weigh it here and we'd put that there so you'd know.
When you get them in plastic, and
Yeah.
you buy one of them,
So when I make
It smells like Lancaster and then a little bit with the cows.
The farmy
Yeah,
smell.
farmy smell.
Yeah.
That's new.
Find your car.
Yeah, gotcha. Thank you.
As we got back onto the bus, the sun really came out, and this brought out the beautiful green color of the fields. It really is amazing how green it is here. And there are quite a lot of sheep in these little pastures that are divided by rock walls and hedge lines. We get to see a lot of that on this trip. We have a lot to show you from Ireland, so make sure that you are subscribed. Hit the notification bell so that you will know as soon as the next video comes out, so that you can see the castles and the coastline, the Giant's Causeway, the gin tour, and all the other great things that we got to do with our time in Ireland. Thanks so much for being here. We'll see you in the next one.
Well, you worried about you and me, the injustice, the next president to be, the news and what you hear, your career. It's time for you to face those fears, and it's all fair to be aware, and I'll be there, so don't be scared. Just take a deep breath of air, and 1, 2, 3 to 10, you begin to focus again, and though time flies, we'll have enough to realize this bigger than the both of us.